Manx Blind Welfare is one of the oldest charities we have here on the island. It's been in operation since 1936, and now, some 80 years on, one of the things I find most pleasing and reassuring about the society is that the principles and objects of the society in 1936 really haven't changed that much from then till now. What we're about is supporting blind and visually impaired people to live fully inclusive lives, to be able to fully participate in society. We do a lot of work around people's physical and emotional well-being by helping blind and visually impaired people to know that there are opportunities for them to rethink their lives, to re-engineer their lives, and to live their lives almost as independently as they were able to previously. And that's one of the most exciting things that we do here at Manx Blind Welfare.
At the age of 7, I lost vision in my right eye. I'm 23 now, and in the left eye I have light perception, so I can tell whether a light is on or off, and I can make out silhouettes and objects. It was horrific. It wasn't easy, especially when I got to the age of 16 and all of my friends were going out, having driving lessons, passing their tests. That really, really hit hard. I'm getting used to the fact that I can't see people's faces anymore. At university, I don't know what my friends look like, so I kind of have to mentally process that. It's not easy. I do get depressed. It still causes me problems, but I've got better coping strategies and a better support network and people to talk to now. I really would have struggled a lot on the Isle of Man if the Manx Blind Welfare Society weren't here. I've got a colour detector, which if I point at a piece of clothing, it'll tell me whether it's black, blue, dark red, light red, green. I've got a note detector, which vibrates different amount of times to tell me what the notes are. They've always been there if I've needed a chat, which has been lovely to sit there and get some things off my chest. At the end of the day, I want to be a normal citizen in the Manx society, and Manx Blind Welfare have really helped me do that.
Generally, it's quite a positive place up here because we're looking at how people can carry on doing things, not necessarily how you have to stop.
Part of my role is going out and talking to people about the challenges faced by blind and visually impaired people. We say to people, how would that actually make you feel? And a lot of people say, well, I'd feel lonely and isolated. And I said, well, that's where we're here to help people.
I think the essence of the Luncheon Clubs is the members themselves and the friendships that they develop. The support that they actually give to each other is invaluable.
The shop is down in Strand Street in Douglas. We opened last November. We take good quality items of clothing and it's at budget prices.
It's about enabling people or finding some tools that will help people do things themselves.
Without Manx Blind Welfare here, I think there will be a lot of people struggling on the island, and we do get visits from people from UK charities who have a tour around our building, and they're quite staggered really by what we have and what we can do.
Everyone is just so kind. They genuinely are, the members, the volunteers, the staff. It's just a really nice place to be.
I'm Madeline, and I'm the Thursday librarian. I have macular degeneration myself. So I was up here and then realised that they'd got a library and offered to volunteer, and then found out that Thursday's slot was free, so had my name on it. I've always been a great reader myself, and luckily I can still read. But of course a lot of people can't anymore. They can be living in a closed world, and it's entertainment. And I like to think that people have got something to look forward to. We've got fiction, non-fiction, murder mysteries, biographies, classics, poetry, humour, romance. We don't have horror. I like people to be happy, to have what they want. And I know it's an old cliche, if they're happy, I'm happy, but it's true. You only get back what you give, really. And it is so true. I've become more aware of that only since I've been doing this. I think if I had my time again, I wouldn't have become a medical secretary. I would have been a librarian.
A lady I'd known for many years, and she said, "Oh, you know, you've got nothing to do now. Why don't you come up and join us?"
It keeps me in touch with society in general, a wider spectrum of society than I would meet otherwise.
From the moment someone speaks to you on the phone, you know whether they're upset or nervous or something dreadful has happened to them.
Most of the people I deal with are singles. Most of them live alone, and a number of them rarely get out of their houses unless I happen to be there to collect them.
Without that friendly smile when you come in and is everything all right, makes your work easier, doesn't it?
I feel like I belong to a big family, and a very caring family. Everybody, nothing's too much trouble, everybody just is prepared to whatever you want, whatever you need, they'll help you.
Doing something like this is giving something to people who basically don't have the same advantage in life that I've had.
Well, if you've got time, do it. You know, you get a good sense of achievement out of it, and that's the main thing, I think.
So you've got to have that feeling of wanting to give to people, because the more you give, the more you get back. Believe me, you really do.
Manx Blind Welfare is incredibly fortunate in that it's very humbling to be able to say this, to be honest. It's funded exclusively on the basis of charitable donations, and so just to be clear about that, we don't receive any financial support in terms of grants or contracts from the Isle of Man government. And so I should start off by saying how delighted I am to be able to thank everybody that's worked so hard to help us to get to where we are and to continue to provide the wide range of services that we have. The predominant amount of our income comes from charitable donations, and they take the form of collections that we make around the island, or special projects that we're working on that we seek sponsorship for, and also from investments from legacy income. And they're the principal sources of income for Manx Blind Welfare Society.
Usually on a Saturday I get a bright, I think it's yellow envelope through the post, and it's a, what do you call it, U3B stick or something, I don't know, a stick anyway. You put a little machine, and the little machine is somewhere here, a little tiny machine, and this little machine is very good, very good. I hate being in the room where it's all quiet and I've always got the radio on or something, and it's just something different. There's the news. Sometimes you get to know the people who are reading it and you know the voices and, you just imagine you're sitting with the person who's reading it. It's really good. It's nice to hear other voices and things like that. I actually identify by voices more than, so I can't see faces or nothing. Well, I can't name them. I might upset someone else. Yes, do have my favourites.
Hello, it's my pleasure, Bob Harrison, to read the recorded news for you today. Let's give you the weather weekend. Shall we get in with the news? Let's give you the news headlines from the Manx Independent. Population time.
I was born blind in one eye and then I lost sight in the other eye, just went, and I was told there was a very nice lady at Manx Blind Welfare, and it took me a whole year to pluck up the courage to go and ring her up. I dialed her number so many times, and before the last digit I'd put it down again. I was too nervous, but now I'm very glad I did in the end.
We are at Manx Equitherapy with the lovely Wendy, and she teaches Evie every Saturday horse riding. It was actually Manx Blind Welfare that suggested it. She loves animals, she has a really good connection with animals. The horses are very calm. It makes a nice bond, I think, between the two of them, and I think sometimes it's a bit of independence as well. It's a bit of, I get to be in control of something, whereas I think sometimes when you don't have your sight and you're led around quite a lot, you feel a bit out of control. So she's born with a very rare condition. It affects 1 in every 100,000 children. And it's where, when I was pregnant, unbeknown to me and everybody, the doctors, her eyes didn't develop. Certainly in everyday school life, there's things that she can't do or can't join in on, and yeah, it's tough in that respect. You just have to learn to approach everything completely differently, and I think it's definitely been a bit of a roller coaster in that regard. But Evie does really well. She's becoming quite independent. It does take a bit of pushing every now and then, but yeah, she does really well, I think. So, because we live in such a sighted world, we take it for granted. It's not just an older generation thing. It can happen from birth.
Walk on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
And Manx Blind Welfare are fantastic at supporting and helping people and families through such a difficult trials in their life, really.
Manx Blind Welfare, as I said earlier on, has operated for some 80 years, and sadly in some ways it'll operate for a lot longer, and one of the reasons for that is we see more and more people presenting at our doors and other blind societies right the way across the United Kingdom and elsewhere. And the reason for that is, as people live longer, sight loss is often associated, or more often associated, with people who are older. As we get older, the statistics in the UK, issued by RNIB just a short while ago, suggests that 1 in 5 people over the age of 75 will have to deal with sight loss as they get older, and once we get over 90, 1 in 2 people will have to deal with sight loss. Having said all that, the good news is we're making a big difference. And those of you who had a chance to have a look at this video, no doubt will feel the same way. And it's for that reason that we are delighted that we have so much support from the Manx public, not only in terms of the amount of money that we receive, but also, and perhaps just as importantly, from the fabulous efforts of our volunteer force. And I can't emphasise enough how important they are to us. And so if you have any free time that you'd like to dedicate to helping blind and visually impaired people, we'd be delighted to see you and welcome you here. And also with regard to our funds, if you've got any inspiring ideas about how we can help to sustain and maintain our funds, we'd be delighted to hear from you. Thank you for your support.
It's not the end of your life, and there are ways of coping with a visual impairment, and that's where Manx Blind Welfare come in to help you with that.
The support and guidance that the Manx Blind Welfare have given me is out of this world.
They were able to help me a lot, not only emotionally, but also physically with different pieces of equipment, etc. that could help me.
The staff here are brilliant. They can't do enough to help me. They've given me loads of equipment, talking watches. I've got a talking scale to weigh out Pippa's food. Anything they can do to help, they will.
Every penny that the members of the public donate to the Manx Blind does go to a good cause.
So we'd be lost without it. It's a real asset and we should look after it.
It can affect all of us, so it is very important to support an organisation that offers help and support for the visually impaired and blind people of our community.
If we all clubbed together and got involved, the island would be a better community because, as I said before, we're not all disabled. We're able, but just in our own way.
Although we're blind, eyesight impairment people, we still have a life as well. And we rely on people to help us.
That this really is a cause worthwhile. And there are a few leading charities, if you like, on the island who deserve financial help. And I think Manx Blind Welfare is one of them.